Hey guys, thank you so much for jumping on our latest webinar, and just wanted to share with you a clip of that, of really what's my favorite part of the whole buying and selling businesses, where you can exponentially grow your wealth and the business value. So check this out and we'll have some more information for you at the end.
This part right here is what got me the most excited about looking at companies as opposed to businesses. Maximizing multiples is one way you can look at it. If some of you have seen the video, if you haven't, I'm going to go through this real quick. You think of monopoly. There's two businesses on the monopoly board. There is a railroad and then there's utilities. Now, the utilities and the railroads act differently than the real estate does. The cool thing about businesses, and if you buy a railroad, if someone lands on it, they owe you 50 bucks. But if you buy a second railroad and someone lands on your first one, they owe you 100 bucks. Just because you own two, no other reason. The third railroad that you buy, someone owes you $200. Again, just because it's bigger. You haven't built anything on it. Real estate doesn't do that. If you buy 50 houses, the first house you bought isn't any more valuable because you bought 50. It's still worth the same amount because there's a top of the market. It doesn't matter if you buy a $100,000 house. If you put $500,000 into it, it's still going to be worth about 100 grand if that's the top of the market, because it's dictated by what the typical person would spend in the typical area. And that's how it works. Now, bizbycell.com puts out an insight report once a year. This is from 2017. I haven't pulled 2018's yet. They do it at the end of a year. And this goes through what the average businesses are selling for per industry. Let's pick the top one here. This is auto repair, parts and services. There were 350 sales that went through Biz By Cell. It showed the median sale price, the median asking price, and then it showed what the median revenue was and the median cash flow. Now, if you see this number I've got circled over here to the right, this is 2.64. This is the cash flow multiple. Remember when I talked about that multiple of EBITDA when we paid 1.45 for that Lighthouse Learning Center? The average for auto repair is 2.64. So, and that's profits. Now, that's just the business, not the real estate. We've already taken the real estate off the table. We've taken our money and run from that. This is just the business where we have the most ability to impact value. So it's 2.64. This chart right here, I built this out of trying to get a good picture of how the whole M&A community works. If you see this first little stump right here, 93% of businesses are what we consider Main Street businesses. This is your mom and pops. This is your Lighthouse Learning Center. The 5 locations that I'm talking about throughout this presentation is your mom and pops. This makes up the 93%, and the average, let's say, is 2.64 times profits. This giant bubble that you see encompassing this whole thing where it says EBITDA multiples up top, this giant bubble represents all the big money. This is your equity funds. This is your national chains, your investment banks, your capital markets. This is where whenever you hear there's trillions of dollars sitting on the sidelines waiting to be deployed, that's the pot that they're talking about. That pot will never find its way down to the bottom down here, ever. The reason why is because it's not worth it to them. They hire top level MBAs to do massive due diligence. They're buying the 20, 30, 50, $100 million companies. They're not looking at Joe's Plumbing down here. And that's 93% of the market. 93%. That's the biggest piece of it. But they're all competing for these guys right here in the middle. These are your bigger ones. This is the guy that started out as Joe's Plumbing, and now he's Joe's National Plumbing. Now he owns 20 locations. He's got a regional manager in a couple of states. He's making some good profits. He's got some systems and processes, and he's done pretty good. Now, this is important. What determines this multiple? What determines that is risk, period, bottom line. If you buy Joe's Plumbing and he's got a corner on, one location at the corner of 5th and Main, if he goes out of business and you've bought it and that goes out of business, you're 100% out of business. It's kind of the same argument with you real estate guys who can understand multifamily versus single family. I always preferred multifamily because if I had a bunch of apartments and one's vacant, then I'm okay because I still got all the other ones. My risk is diversified. Same thing here with the businesses. They have multi-unit locations. If one goes under, it's okay. If I bought 20 of them and one goes under, I got 19 more. So it's the reason that it's more valuable and the reason that I'm willing to pay more for it is because the risk is reduced. Now you come over here. Now this is your capital markets. These are your publicly traded companies. They're 20 plus times profits. If you watch CNBC and they talk about multiples of EBITDA, they're talking about these big numbers here. And that's because they're just big. They got scale, they got liquidity, they got systems, tons of redundancies in place. They're not going to fold more than likely. So it's a safe bet. You can invest your money in the morning and pull it out in the afternoon. That's something else that contributes to the value here. But this play right here, in fact, we even have the ability with our process to take this guy and make him public. I won't get into that. Let's just talk about moving these guys. So we started thinking, how can we take these guys over here, the 93%, and move them over to here, where now we're tapping into the trillions of dollars that are sitting there. We buy them at the low part, sell them at the high part, only for making it bigger. That's it. That's huge. I love to use this example here. So you've got the house, or you got a business here. It's doing $100,000 a year. If we use that same multiple, it's worth $264,000. That's the value. Again, just the business, not the real estate. Our holding company comes along, and let's say for simplicity purposes, we buy another 9 of them just like it, all doing $100,000 a year. Well, now we have one company doing $1 million a year in profits when you take $100,000 times 10 locations. So now we get to take advantage of a 6 times profits. So now the whole thing is worth 6 million. So what does that do to this little guy over here? Well, now he gets the advantage of the 6 times profits, or a $600,000 valuation, just for making it part of the group. That absolutely floored me.
Thank you guys for checking it out. We've got a lot more information where that comes from. You can go to buyingblueoceans.com to see our latest updates and when our next webinars are going to be. Click the links below to subscribe. We're continually putting out new information we'd love to share with you. So look forward to working with you at some point in the future.